Ukraine right now is heating up pretty significantly. A few days ago, there was a video posted of soldiers going into Moscow, into the nightclubs there. I've seen two different variations of it. Both of them are being these people are being conscripted. One of them, they go into an LGBTQ plus nightclub and round up people for conscription. That's the article I saw. The other one was straight conscription. I don't speak Russian, so I don't know to the validity of which one is the correct one. I suspect it probably has to do with the LGBTQ one because Associated Press honed in on that. But right now in Russia, there is 1,500 Russians as casualties a day, meaning injury, wounded, killed, whatever. 1,500 a day. And that's been going on since about May. It's a bad situation right now. Essentially, Russia is pushing as far forward as they can. In fact, I saw like they had an assault group that was literally one infantry fighting vehicle and a motorcycle. That was the whole assault group. And like the guys like monitoring this on drone were like laughing and like really dumbfounded about what was going on. Russia's running out of time. And so they're allotting manpower as best they can to take back this as much land as they can for leverage purposes. I was reading this book this weekend called The New Map. If you guys haven't checked it out, it's pretty good. It really gives a much more in-depth detail, like when you take into account everything that I've talked about on here and everything. It gives about the Ukraine war. It gives a much more in-depth account of sort of what Russia is trying to accomplish. And the answer to that is pretty simple. Russia cannot win in a technology race. They cannot win. Okay? There are too many countries that are too far ahead of them. And any situation in which they go into the new world economy, they are going to take a back seat because they don't have the manufacturing capacity. They've largely ostracized everyone. Everyone's scared of them as a czarist empire, and so they're scared of them attacking. And so really what they're trying to do is control the global narrative on energy and how energy is used. And the more influence that they can garner in the West, the more they can undermine it. See, there's a problem right now in the world we live in, which is that in order for us to go to clean energy, in order for us to become self-sufficient in the United States, I know that there's some caveats in that because the United States largely is, we have to invest money. As long as there's opposition to the Green New Deal, as long as there's opposition to stopping carbon emissions, there will be then, it will be easier for those major oil companies and those energy exporters to maintain their power. And for Russia, they view it as critical, right? Because, sure, they would like to be the tech sector, best in the world. But for them to do that, it means that they have to control Europe. Control it through energy prices and a whole host of stuff. So this book basically goes through laying out sort of the global trade when it comes to energy dating back decades. It's a pretty interesting read in that regard. And it gives a much more clear picture of what Russia's trying to accomplish in Ukraine, which is control over natural gas. Russia wants control over energy. And as long as they can shit disturb to keep people in the West preoccupied, they can implement their goals to that regard. So that's really more or less what's going on. They're trying to gain influence over the West so that they can control their future. And to do that, Ukraine is pivotal in so many ways. So, but as far as the war is going there, Russia's on the offensive. They are making ground. It's not sizable, but they are making ground. And it's coming at a huge loss of life. Like I said, about 1,500 a day. A few days ago, Ukraine assaulted, now probably just a feint attack, Ukraine assaulted Crimea and Russian bases there, largely to probably try and move air defenses south, because the west, the east and the north have really become where this battle has been fought. It's a really difficult situation right now. Not sure what's going to happen. Donald Trump has absolutely no hope of resolving this in a manner that is going to be the beneficial long term. Best he could hope for is a ceasefire, which would only bolster Russia's ability. So I'm not really sure the West would go for it either. By the way, what are we in now? Nearly a month, still hasn't ended the war like he said he was gonna.
Yeah, what's the deal? Yuli is here if you'd like to hear from her. Your resident
Yulia,
Ukrainian.
I
Yeah.
will in just a second. I want to get through this last thing here though. And Syria is also heating up. So Syria, Aleppo is currently under assault. I haven't seen the reports from today. They were merging on the city. They had made substantial gains, and rebels had appeared to be taking back Aleppo. That's another. So many different places in the world right now could just break out into full blown conflict or like destabilize. It's like you're balancing all of your car. It's like a house of cards right now. It's like hoping nobody blows it over so it messes up. But like I said, Ukraine is it's a rough situation right now. It's not like they're losing. It's just Russia is just relentlessly throwing people at the front line. Most of them not trained or armed or anything like that. And it should be noted that this is actually the what Ukraine is doing is something that was established as a defensive posture for NATO decades ago, which is this hit and retreat style attack, right? Allow them to push out their supply lines, hit them. How long Russia can substantiate this level of attack for? I mean, they could do it for some time. They've been doing it since May, but it's certainly not a long term strategy going forward.